If your power goes out tonight, the transformer that failed is probably older than you are. There are 40 million distribution transformers on the American grid right now that have already exceeded their expected service life. 70% of all power transformers are more than 25 years old. 15% are over 40 years, which is the designed maximum lifespan. The Department of Commerce measured the average age of large power transformers at 38 years. That was in 2020, 6 years ago. The average transformer in America has now passed its expiration date, and there are not enough replacements on Earth to fix them before they start failing in waves. Every metal canister bolted to the pole on your street, every humming gray box behind the strip mall, every fenced substation you drive past on the highway, those are transformers. They step high voltage transmission power down to 120 volts that runs your home. Without them, the grid does not exist. And right now, the grid is held together by equipment that was installed when Ronald Reagan was president. But the age is not even the worst part. The worst part is what happens when you need a replacement. Before 2022, a standard distribution transformer, the kind on the pole outside your house, cost between $3,000 and $4,000. Today, that same unit costs over $20,000. That is a 5 to 6 times increase in 3 years. Large power transformer prices are up 60 to 80% since 2020. Copper has jumped over 40%, and the wait times have become catastrophic. In 2021, a utility could order a power transformer and receive it in 50 weeks. Today, the lead time is 128 weeks for a standard power transformer, 144 weeks for a generation step-up unit, up to 210 weeks for a specialized model. That is 4 years. If the transformer on your street blows tomorrow, the replacement may not arrive until 2030. Wood Mackenzie published an analysis in August 2025, warning that the United States faces a 30% shortfall in power transformers and a 10% gap in distribution units. Power transformer demand has surged 119% since 2019. The factories physically cannot keep up. And the reason they cannot keep up is the part your utility company will never tell you. Every transformer on the grid requires a core made from grain-oriented electrical steel, an engineered material known as GOES. There is exactly one company in the entire United States that produces it. 1. Cleveland-Cliffs operates 2 plants in Pennsylvania and Ohio. If those plants go down for any reason, whether a labor strike, a fire, or a supply disruption, American transformer production stops, not slows down. Stops. The Biden administration awarded Cleveland-Cliffs $500 million to upgrade those facilities. The Trump administration canceled key elements of that grant. The single factory that makes the single material that holds the American power grid together just lost its modernization funding. 80% of power transformers in the United States are now imported. 50% of distribution transformers come from overseas. New tariffs will include 50% tariffs on copper, 50% tariffs on imports from India and Brazil, and 35% tariffs on Canadian equipment not covered by USMCA. These changes are about to make every replacement more expensive and every lead time longer. You are not just waiting for a transformer. You are waiting for a transformer that has to be built overseas, with materials subject to trade wars, shipped across an ocean, and transported on specialized rail cars that are also in short supply. This is not a future crisis. This is a crisis happening right now. In Denver, a single transformer fire hospitalized 8 people and displaced 87 residents from an assisted living facility. In Fort Worth, a substation explosion triggered a large fire and forced voluntary evacuations of surrounding homes. In Cambridge, Massachusetts, one transformer failure knocked out power for 1,700 households in a single afternoon. These are not freak events. These are the early symptoms of a grid running on borrowed time. The President's National Infrastructure Advisory Council published a report in June 2024 classifying the transformer shortage as a direct threat to national security and grid reliability. They recommended creating a strategic national transformer reserve, the same concept as the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, a stockpile of emergency units staged across the country, ready to deploy when critical equipment fails. That reserve does not exist. There is no national stockpile. There is no emergency inventory. When the next Category 4 hurricane flattens a county and 300 transformers blow in a single night, your utility will place an order, and the factory will quote them a delivery date 3 years out. Meanwhile, your utility is not stockpiling transformers for your neighborhood. They are building infrastructure for data centers. In the PJM electricity market, which stretches from Illinois to North Carolina, data centers added $9.3 billion in capacity costs in a single year. Every data center needs transformers. Every solar farm needs transformers. Every electric vehicle charging station needs transformers. And every single one of those installations is competing with your street for the same limited supply from the same overwhelmed factories using the same scarce steel from the same single American plant. You are last in line, and the line is 4 years long. So what do you do when the grid itself is the single point of failure? Stop assuming the power will come back on quickly. A transformer failure in your area no longer means a 4-hour inconvenience. It could mean weeks. It could mean months. Prepare for that reality now while the hardware is still available. You install backup power that requires 0 grid components. A dual-fuel generator running on gasoline and propane operates completely independent of every aging transformer between the power plant and your house. A solar array with a lithium iron phosphate battery bank and a transfer switch takes you off the grid entirely. Your lights stay on regardless of which transformer blows next. You oversize your system. Do not install the minimum. When your neighbors are waiting 8 weeks for a replacement transformer in January, your system needs to carry heating, refrigeration, medical equipment, and communications without rationing. Size for survival, not savings. The Department of Energy published its first large power transformer vulnerability study in 2012. That was 14 years ago. The transformers are older now. The wait times are longer. The prices are higher. The single domestic steel producer just lost its upgrade funding. And the strategic reserve they recommended still does not exist. They have known about this for over a decade. They are not going to fix it in time. Build your own grid before theirs collapses. If you are learning something from this, hit subscribe. I cover the infrastructure failures and corporate scams your utility company will never admit to. Every single week, the transformers are not the only ticking bomb on the American grid. The exact same aging crisis is happening inside the power lines, the substations, and the circuit breakers connecting your home to the grid. If you want to see how utility companies turned your electric bill into a subscription you cannot cancel, and how the infrastructure you are paying for crumbles, click the video on your screen right now.